Hello, welcome to Temple Baptist Church here in Poplar, Bluff, Missouri. It's time for another daily devotional, and our text today is going to be in Judges chapter 7. We're going to look at verse 2, and I'll give you a little background on this as we go along, but let's go ahead and get verse 2 in here. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with you are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand hath saved me. All right, Gideon is preparing to lead an army of 32,000 men against the Midianites, who already outnumber him with 135,000 soldiers. Now, I wonder if you could look at the expression on his face when God orders him and tells him that's too many men. It's kind of strange to think that there's ever too many people involved in God's work. But when we get into this, we're going to find out why. And the Lord God declared the number had to be so reduced that the victory would be unmistakably not God, would be unmistakably God's. I almost got that backwards, not theirs. And so, had they went in with these 32,000 men and defeated this 135,000 soldiers, they could have done a little bit of saying, hey, look what we done, instead of realizing what God had done, what God was doing. And so Gideon tells the faithful to go home, and 22,000 left. Now, he probably didn't see that coming either, did he? He probably said, well, I'm going to ask, if you're fearful to go home, he didn't think 22,000 of them was going to be scared, so he let them home. But then still God says there's too many, and we know the test that he put them through. They went down to the stream, and then God reduces Gideon's army to 300 men. And what are they carrying when they leave there? They're equipped with a ram's horn and a clay jar, and they defeat the mighty Midianites. From 32,000 down to 300. 135,000 remained there, but they did that, and God wanted Gideon's small army to receive the blessing and recognize that his hand was fighting for them. 300 men against 135,000, even I understand that's not very good odds in our own flesh. That's not going to work. But why were the fearful were dismissed? Fear is contagious. I think that's one of the reasons they were dismissed, and shuts the door to God's grace that makes us conquerors. We're conquerors through Jesus Christ. And I rarely think of too many people could be a hindrance to God's work. I don't know about where you go to church at, but even the church at Temple, we struggle sometimes for enough people to fill positions that we feel like God wants us to fill. And so what do you think about this here? You started out with 32,000 men. Now you're down to 300. And so, but the thinking of Gideon, I think, is an illustration that something is hard to be big and really rely on the Lord. In ourselves, we can't do anything. We know that. We can't do that, but only believing, one believer and God is the majority, isn't it? That's all it takes, is one person and God. But we need to always recognize that God works in our lives. He's the one that does it. We're not out here for self-recognition. We shouldn't be. If we are, we're out here for the wrong reason. But we need to be out here to let people know that God can do all things. He can do all things with, there's nothing impossible with Him. God works in our lives, and we need to give Him the glory. It would be nice sometimes to stand back with a chest puffed out and head high and say, look what I done. But in reality, it's what God has done through us. Is God using you as an instrument today? He wants to. He wants us to do for Him the things that He's called us to do, and He wants us to give the honor and glory to Him. come and visit us here at Temple if you have the opportunity. We meet on Sunday mornings at 8. We have Sunday school classes beginning at 9, and then 10 o'clock. Our second service is at 10 o'clock. And then we meet Sunday nights at 6 and Wednesday nights at 7. And come and be a part of that. May God bless you is our prayer.